Number 10 on this list is crazy. You may not believe it, but it's true. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my tent. My name is Christie, spelled with an E, and Lucky is here right on schedule. As always, he has to be in on everything that we do. Yes, because he's a little turd ball and he knows it. He's spoiled rotten. He gets away with everything. Today, I thought it would be fun to share with you 10 more things. So, instead of all of this preambling stuff, let's just get right into it, shall we? Number 1, you know the song Reunited? Reunited and it feels so good. Whenever I hear that, all I can think of is Dudley Do-Right, the movie, not the cartoon, but the actual movie with Brendan Fraser. And when he's dreaming about his horse named Horse, and they play the song in his dream and he goes, horse! And I have to say that just like that anytime I hear that song. So if you're ever around me and you want to see something funny, play that, because I'm just programmed to respond that way now. It's just built in now. Number 2. Some of you know that I took ballet lessons when I was younger. I quit when I was 10 because they had the prima ballerina from the Grand Rapids Ballet come in, and she was the Sugar Plum Fairy and the Nutcracker Ballet, and she was going to teach us to go on point. And I saw her feet and they were mangled, and I quit because I didn't want my toes to end up looking like that, because I like my toes, I think they're cute. Anyways, so female ballet dancers are called ballerinas. And then you have the top billing ballerina, who is the prima ballerina, or the prima donna. And I always wondered, what do they call the men that dance ballet? Balleroons? Which I think is completely fitting, and that's what I call them. But I recently found out the actual truth. A male ballet dancer is called a danseur, D-A-N-S-E-U-R. So I'm assuming it's French, as you know. And then if they dance with the prima donna, so the top female ballerina, when they dance with like when the Nutcracker dances with the Sugar Plum Fairy. So for that dance, what is it? Think, as Pooh Bear would do. Danseur Noble would be his title. And if he's the best male ballet dancer, he's called the principal dancer. It's so boring. Why? Female gets a ballerina, and the man gets a danseur. Like, I'm a dancer. Well, you could be a dancer for a lot of other kinds of dance as well, not just ballet. So I am going to stick with my moniker of a balleroon. You can join me if you like. You are always in the way. Thank you. Number 3. I want to have 4 donkeys, and their names have already been picked out. It's Johann, Sebastian, Arnold, and Donkey. And of course, the last one, his name is self-explanatory. That is, obvious. The other 3, on the other hand, are not quite as obvious, but I will tell you why they have those names. In an imaginary conversation I had in my head with a random imaginary person asking me why my donkeys had those names, I said, well, they told me, of course. The first one over there, he said that he wanted to be called Johann. So call him Johann. And the one next to him, he said that he wanted to be called Sebastian. So we called him Sebastian. And this one here, he said, well, if they're Johann and Sebastian, I'll be Bach. I said, all right, named him Arnold. And if you get that, that's why we're friends. Number 4. When I say Chuck Berry, what comes to mind? I'll give you a second to think about it. Time's up. What did you think of? Did you think of Johnny B. Goode? Was that what came to your head? Yeah, when I hear the name Chuck Berry, you want to know what comes into my head? My ding-a-ling, I want to play with my ding-a-ling. Yes, we are not the same. That's a good song though, I love it. It's like my favorite song. One time, my friend was playing Johnny B. Goode in her car, and she's like, oh man, I just love Chuck Berry and blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, well, I like my ding-a-ling better. And she was like shocked. I don't think she had heard any other music that he had done. So, I mean, I'm going to give her a pass on that. But yeah, she thought I was absolutely crazy until I proved that I was right. Because if I am right, I will let you know. Isn't that right, Katie? Number 5. So I know in my last 10 things video, I talked about the best music used in the end of a movie, in my opinion. And if you ever watched the movie 1408, The Haunted Hotel Room in New York with Jacob Cusack. Yeah, that's his name. Sometimes I forget. I have to go digging in my brain filing cabinets and make sure I get the right one. And I got it. I got it. Anyways, so in this movie, they use the song We've Only Just Begun, sung by the Carpenters, and it becomes so creepy the way that they used it. Absolutely fantastic. And if that's the best use of the best overuse, I guess I'll say, of a song in a movie, the worst overuse of a song in a movie was a movie back in the 70s, I do believe, Love Story, and they played that theme through the whole movie, and then when they really should have used that music, it was silent. Totally wrong. I mean, silence can be good in a movie. I remember in Harry Potter, the Order of the Phoenix, right? Katie, am I right on that one? I can't think of it right now. I think that's the right one. I think it was Order of the Phoenix. When his uncle dies and it's quiet. That worked. That was fantastic. But yeah, Love Story was... I will never watch that movie again. I don't like it that much. I love the song, hate the movie. Moving on. Number 6. And I know what you're thinking. There's a lot of music stuff in here, and there's more to come, but music is very important to me. I love music. Music is... I'm always listening to music in the car. I'll put music on at the house. I'll sing. I have a kazoo that I carry around in my purse. So yes, number 6 is another music one. But this one's a little more fun. This is how my brothers and sisters and I were woken up by my dad growing up. My dad had a sound system that he wired throughout the house, so each of our bedrooms had a speaker in it. We were not allowed to have our own radios or music players of any kind, no Walkmans. If you even know what a Walkman is, those of you watching, I could be that old that no one knows what that is anymore, but we were not allowed to have any music of our own. And I'll go into this all later when I do like stories from the cult and my background in that. But he would wake us up every morning at 5:30 using the Epsilon Jazz Band, which is a very obscure Michigan band that I can't find the music for on Spotify or anywhere. I have been able to find the vinyl on eBay, but yeah, my record player doesn't work. But anyways, the Epsilon Jazz Band's rendition of Old Lady Leary. And if you don't know Old Lady Leary, which you should, everyone should you should almost, you learn that in school when you're a little kid. Old Lady Larry left a lantern in the shed, and when the cow ticked it over, this is what she said: it'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. Fire, fire, fire. Yes, well, that song, it was a jazz band, so a lot of horns, complete with the sirens of the fire engines and everything. So that is what woke us all up out of a dead sleep at 5:30 every morning. Yeah, we had no way to turn it off. It was that way. And there was one morning that us kids got Mom out of their bedroom because they had a speaker in their room too. We woke her up and got her out because we weren't trying to be mean to Mom here. We were just trying to get Dad back for all of his, morning time terror. And we played that piece for him to wake up to. It was funny. It was funny. It was worth getting in trouble for. Absolutely. Number 7. And again, this is another music one. So some of you know who Brian May is. He is a fantastic guitarist. Not my favorite, mind you, but he's very, 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 very good. And his band is one of the best bands, had the best front man ever, Queen. And he is not only a fantastic guitarist, he is also an astrophysicist. He's a scientist. So in one of their songs, he said that fat bottom girls make the rockin' world go round. And no one has refuted that in the scientific community. So since he said that, he was a scientist, we can now take that as fact, scientific fact now, that fat bottom girls do indeed make the rockin' world go round. And on the subject of bad jokes, I do love dad jokes. They are my favorite. I tell them all the time. But as you can tell by looking at me, I am not a father, which makes me a faux pas. And that was for you, Lila. I love you. Number 8. When I was younger, my brothers loved to play football outside, and I would play with them. And there was one, and they loved snow football. In the winter, that was always a lot of fun. You could do more and hurt less because the snow cushioned your fall. But there was one time the snow was, above knee deep, and Bubby wanted to play snow football. And I was like, I really don't want to. I don't want to have to put all my snow stuff on and go outside and then come back in and check it out. I was just out there earlier. But when your little brother says, would you play with me? What are you going to do? Of course, I went out and played with him. So we were playing football. I got a touchdown, and I told him I was going to, head back in because I was done playing. And he said, that's not fair. How come? And I said, well, Dad told us, quit while you're ahead. I'm ahead. I quit. Number 9 is also a music one. So maybe I should have titled this the 10 music things, except they're not all music related, but this one is. Yes. When you talk about misheard lyrics, one of my favorite ones, and I will always sing it this way, I will never change, even though I know that they're wrong lyrics, but Elton John's Benny and the Jets. And I know it's a fairly common misheard lyric too, so, it's not unique to me in any way, but, the electric boobs, yeah, that's exactly, she's got her electric boobs, her mohair suit, I read it in a magazine, oh. Yeah, I cannot sing, don't. I think I might have to cut that out because that was bad. But anyways, that's my misheard lyric. Well, one of them. There are quite a few, but that's one of them. Number 10. And this one is the craziest. So let me ask you a question. When did you know that Tyrannosaurus Rex was a carnivore? When you were in school, when you were young? Yeah. I wasn't taught that. I believed that the Tyrannosaurus Rex was an herbivore until I was 30. Yes. Again, part of the cult, some of the bad teachings that we had growing up that I've since had to relearn the proper thing, because obviously the Tyrannosaurus Rex was not an herbivore. But if you've seen the what is it, the ark that's in Kentucky, that was built by Answers in Genesis, that is where we got our science from. A lot of it anyways. The wisdom booklets had some resources, and I'll get into all of that later so it makes more sense, because some of you are going, I have no idea what you're talking about with resources and stuff like that. That was our subjects. But yeah, we learned some very crazy things that were not correct. And I've had to relearn that over the years. When I first left home, it was a big shock. It really was, to have grown up in a bubble and to then go out into the world just like, yeah, that was very interesting. There's a bit of my life back then that I cannot remember. And I've probably done that myself for a very good reason, and I'm really not that curious as to what that reason is. And it's probably actually not as bad as I thought it was at the time, because I thought I was like horribly rebellious and, had gone from over here. I'd swung the pendulum all over here. And when I would tell people, and they'd be like, sounds pretty normal to me. But it was extreme to me to have lived over here, and then to do something normal that's a whole nother thing that we will get into. But people have thought that that is very crazy when they hear that. So I thought I would add that to my list of 10 things. And so now you know me just now you know me a little better than you did when you started watching this video. And if you have watched it all the way to the end, give yourself a round of applause. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a blessed Tuesday, and I will catch you later. Mwah. Toodles.